What's up, y'all? And welcome back to the Hard Road Fitness Podcast. As you can see, finally, we made it outside. Tried to do this over the last couple of days. Things just weren't working out. But we're going to make it work one way or another. So here we are. Thank you for coming back. For those of you that this is your first time, let me go ahead and break it down why you're here. So, recently I started doing the 75 hard workout challenge. But it really doesn't break down to it being a workout as much with physical as it's more of a mental workout to make you mentally stronger, better, harder, faster, more elite, utilizing working out physically. Because let's be honest, whenever you're angry, it helps to punch something. Whenever you're upset, whenever you're in a mood, this, that, or the other, sometimes just taking a run, going to the gym, going and working out, that helps. Problem is that a lot of us, especially during the pandemic time, we either didn't have the money for, or we didn't have the opportunity to be able to go to the gym because it all got shut down. So we didn't have the equipment. So the whole purpose of this podcast is to show you how to find things around the house, simple things, that you can use to get a solid workout without buying the equipment or the expensive gym membership that comes along with a goofy trainer that's going to eat kale and tell you you're doing something wrong. We're going to do it the redneck way. Okay? That being said, it's probably the only time you're ever going to hear this. I have redneck privilege. What I mean by that is that I'm an iron worker. I'm a former Marine. I'm also a little bit of a hillbilly, a little bit of redneck. So when I say look for something around the house to make it work, to work out, I've got a lot of stuff to choose from. So what I'm going to show you is how to find the things, how to use the things, explain to you where you can go find them, but also just because I use something specific doesn't mean that you can't use something else. You just got to use your imagination. I'm going to show you how I would do it, and then I'm going to show you how I would need to do it if I didn't have whatever parts that I've got that I'm using to put together. A lot of the stuff is going to be able to be done simply just with some knots on a rope. I may even do a full-on podcast on different knots for different situations. I actually have a Navy buddy that pretty much knows just about every knot that I don't know, and being an iron worker, I know a few maybe he doesn't know. So we might do one of those if it works out for you guys. The whole idea of this is being self-sufficient. Not needing to rely on a gym membership or shit you can't buy, shit you can't afford, equipment, all that, okay? So we're going to start out with something relatively simple. Just going to be a simple pulley system that you can use to do a lot of different things. Now please, again, I'm going to go back to the redneck privilege. Don't look at all the stuff that I'm using and just click off. I'm going to show you how to do it without the certain things that I might have that you might not. So, let me show you what we're working with. So today, we're going to do a pulley system. The first thing we're going to need, this is what's known as a choker. Okay? Real simple. Big ring, little ring. That goes through, and it holds on. Okay? strong, it's built to carry a load. Okay? So that's going to be one of the things we're going to use. Next thing we're going to use is obviously going to be a rope. But it needs to be a good rope, a solid rope, something that doesn't stretch. Something that's not like this that I got from Harbor Freight. These are great. They're cheap. They're good for tying a load down to go to the dump. They're not good for suspending weight, because what they're going to do is they're going to stretch. They're going to bounce. Okay? Tell the difference in the braiding of a rope like this. This rope is rated for a much higher weight. Again, not very expensive. All of these things you can get from Harbor Freight or a garage sale. You might have laying around. You might be able to ask your next door neighbor for it. Okay? So we're going to go for that. This snatch block. This I got for 20 bucks from Harbor Freight. Don't necessarily need one of these, but you do need what it is, which is a pulley. Okay? So pulley basically is going to transfer the weight as it moves up and down, like you've seen on a lot of gym equipment. So that's going to be another thing we're going to use. These are going to be some of the things that you may have never seen before and may not know where to get them, but you can get these relatively easy too. Just simple shackle. Okay? These are rated for thousands of pounds. Thousands. We're not going to put that much weight on anything that we're doing. Okay? Simply opens, goes back together. So when we're working with a snatch block, it's going to open, put it here, take that through, and I'll thread it in. Now something important that you need to know about the shackles is once you get it all the way tight, you back it off just a little bit. Because whenever you put weight onto it, what happens is the threads on the inside, the weight will cause them to lock up. And it's going to be all hell to get this off. So you just tighten it all the way up and then just back it off, just a little bump. Okay? Another thing we're going to use, my favorite, 550 cord. You'll see where we use that when we use it. But this is basically, it's parachute cord, it's military cord. This can literally hold, with a single strand, up to 550 pounds. Just like that. Okay? So it's more than strong enough. But you got to make sure when you're getting 550 cord that you get actual 550 cord and you don't get it from like Joann's or one of these craft stores that says it's 550 cord. It looks like it, but it's not. It's worth about 25 pounds. This is worth 550 pounds. Okay? So make sure you're getting it from either online or getting it from even like Big Five, Bass Pro, stuff like that. All right? All right. Something else we're going to use is a simple hook eye. It's called a guy eye. But basically, just a little screw, costs about 45 cents. It's not expensive, okay? This, you can use a screwdriver or the end of a set of pliers, put it in, or you can use a screw gun. This one just happens to be, yeah, it's 1 1/16. Take that, put that in, lines right up. Okay? Now I know that I said we're trying not to spend money, but my granddaddy always said there's no such thing as wasted money on a tool. So if you were to buy something like this or any other tool that you end up needing, typically it's not going to be the only project you're going to buy it for. You're going to find more uses for it as you go. Okay? So this works, but screwdriver, set of pliers, very simple. You don't need to spend any extra money, but this helps, and you'll see why. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a lat pull down bar, which can also be used for rows, can be used for tricep extensions, it can be used for a lot of things. Okay? That's what we're gonna use it for today. That's what we're gonna build. The most important piece of this puzzle is actually right there. We're going to use the tree. Okay? In redneck fashion, we're going to use the tree. Granted, I understand that maybe many of you don't have a tree. You don't have a yard, maybe you're in an apartment, you know, what have you. One of the next podcasts that I'm going to do is going to show you how to build a pull-up bar that is multi-use, that you can use for this and for many other things. Okay? But for right now, we're going to do with this basic, and then once we get to the pull-up bar, I can show you how to attach similar objects. Also, we're going to go ahead, once we get everything put together, this is one of the real nice things to have. One of the first things you need to do when you start working out is stretch. Okay? These work really well for stretching. If you've seen some of the other videos I put up, I've been hanging up on my workout bench. These are from my late wife. I just randomly found them. I've actually been using them to help recover from my injury because I got a bad shoulder. Okay? Work out good, but you can also get a pretty darn good workout with these as well, working up to anything else that we're going to do as of today. All right, so first thing we're going to do is going to grab the ladder. Now, if you don't spend time on a ladder, if you're not in the industry, I think it's almost 38%, it's almost 40% of all home deaths happen falling from that step. Joe Biden's fallen further than this. Okay? People can die from this. All it takes is you falling backwards, hitting your noggin on something hard, gone. So, you want to make sure all 4 feet are solid, and if you have somebody hold the other end. So all he's going to do is he's just going to stabilize that side. So while I'm up, once I get up there, the only 2 points of contact I'm going to have are my 2 feet. Rule of thumb is you want to always have 3 points of contact on a ladder. So my 2 feet plus everything he's got is more than enough. Okay? What we're going to start with is our choker. So I want to get far enough away from the tree to where whatever weight I use isn't dragging up against it, and I've got plenty of room to move around. So I like right here. So I'm going to go right here. Again, little D-ring, big D-ring. It's going to go like that. It's going to go around. All I'm going to do, wrap it around. Get it out to about where I want it. Slide this through. And again, you can get these from Harbor Freight, but also the knots I'm going to show you here shortly, you can also use. And you can use it to tie up just a normal rope. So once I get this tight, once I get it where I want it, I'm going to spin it to where I put this D-ring up on top so that it puts some tension and we go up and over, and now I can hang from it. Okay? So I want to make sure that I'm up high enough to where I don't have a whole bunch of swing, but not tight to where there's no maneuverability. So let's see where that gets me. Go one loop around, go up and over, go tight. See where the second one gets me. So once we get the whole system put together, we can kind of adjust and figure out if it's too high, too low, what have you. All right. So now I'm going to grab a snatch block. Now again, you can get just a simple pulley system, relatively cheap, but this is about 20 bucks. These are about $5 at Harbor Freight. Not that expensive. A typical machine that's going to be like this, you're looking at $500 to $800. We're going to do this whole thing for under $100. Probably under like 80 bucks. Okay? So we're going to unhook our D-ring. Now we got our snatch block, we got a D-ring. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take that and put it through. Take our snatch block, line up the holes. Run the pin in, all the way, back off just a bit. Okay. Now we're going to take our rope. Funnel through one side. And this will kind of give us an idea also of if we got the right elevation or not. Looks like it should be pretty close. Okay. All right. So what I'm going to use for a weight is this chunk of iron. Okay. But something simpler that you can actually measure out in weight is you can start with a bucket. You start with a bucket full of water. Measure it, go by inches, and put it on a scale, or look it up online. There's a whole diagram of it that I can actually pull up for you if need be. Put the question down in the comment section if you need help figuring it out. But you can either use this, so this is a fully adjustable, to where you can put water. If you get past the water, you can add sand. If the sand still is too light, well, now you got sand, you can add water to the sand, and that adds more weight. The further you go, you might end up with concrete in the bucket. Okay, go by increments. All right, that's the nice part about the bucket. This bucket's also going to be used for a lot of different things: farmers' carries and curls and squats and all sorts of stuff that we're going to get to down the line. Okay. But for right now, that's out of the picture. It's just a chunk of iron. That hole just happened to be there when I got this piece. Okay? But if it's not, if you find something that you can use for a weight, you got to get a drill bit. You can actually take it to a machine shop. They'll drill a hole for you for about 12 bucks. This all takes a little bit of effort, okay? Not having to buy all the stuff and not having to pay for the memberships. This is going to take some work, but once you get it done, it's not necessarily going to be easy to do it all, but it will be worth it, and you will see a benefit out of it as you go. All right, so my shackle. I'm going to do what's called a bowline knot. This is a military but it's also an iron worker. It's a typical sailor's knot. Okay, so what you're gonna do is take this. This is called the running end. Pay attention whenever I say running end. The end of the rope is the running end. I'm going to put the running end through my shackle. Let it hang. Take these fingers. I'm going to rotate in and make that loop to where the opposite side is in my fingers and the end that's going towards the running end is on my thumb. Okay? So I'm going to do that again. All I'm going to do is I'm going to take these and I'm going to twist it in. Okay? Twist it in. So now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the hole. I'm going to go around the back. And I'm going to go back through that hole, not this one. Okay? So the one that the running end is already running through, I'm going to go back through that hole. Now when you get to that side, that loop and the running end, I'm going to hold on to that. Grab this side, and I'm just going to pull it. Okay? Through, around, back into that hole, hold that, and you tighten it up. So you should have a little loop that's holding it there, a loop that's holding it there. You don't need to worry about tying this end off. Under pressure, this knot will not slip. The nice part about this knot, all you got to do, push that forward. It all comes apart. So it's not like putting a double or a triple knot on something and then having to sit there and use a knife to cut it off. Okay? So I'm going to do it one more time. So I've got my running end at this end. Twist it under. Through, around, back in that hole, holding the running end and the original loop. It's going to pull, tighten it up, and depending on how slick your rope is, how new your rope is, you might have to sit there and like really kind of work it. This is an older rope, it's got a little tack to it, but a newer rope, a lot of times will have a little bit of wax or something on the outside for waterproofing. So you might have to just sit there and work it in a little bit. But that's the main knot that we're going to use. That's the only knot that we're going to use for today. Now, if you don't have a shackle, that's really all you have to need. Because you can take that, exactly what we just did, and you can do it right here. Okay? So I can do everything I just did right here, put it through that hole, and do that same knot, and you don't need this shackle. Okay? But this makes it nice because now all I have to do, I don't have to keep on retying the knots. I can jump to different items that I want to use for weight. Okay? So right now, I'm just going to go ahead, toss this on, line it up. All the way. Back off just a little bit. Okay, now there's notice something we're backwards. So we want our weight to go towards the tree. Okay? Because we want to be out here, we don't want to be next to the tree pulling your weight in. So what I'm going to do is just switch this around real quick. And then on the outside. So, I could just stop right here. Wrap it around. And do my weight. But you see, it's wobbling. And also, you end up getting pretty decent little rope burn if you keep on doing it that way. Even if you just put knots on there. So we're going to make it just a little bit easier. Go ahead and move this over to the side. Random piece of metal tubing. Okay? About, I'd say probably maybe 13, 14 inches long. Okay? Use longer ones, shorter ones. You can even use an actual lat pull down bar. You can get one of those for relatively cheap. It's got your pin right here, and then all you got to do is hook a shackle up here. Okay? But for today, what we're going to do, I'm going to go ahead and undo this just so I don't have any resistance. Run this through. I'm going to use that exact same knot we just used right here. Okay? So, I'm going to twist it under. Okay? Bring this around. And we come here. More room here. Back through. Hold tight. Once you get to here, funnel it through. You get to about center. Something I did notice prior to doing this. So I'm gonna try to get, solid triangle. Relatively even. You can even, take a little bit of tape up the sides to keep it there. But once you put it under pressure, it's going to stay there. But when you're using this pipe, it's going to want to rock. So thinking about it now, probably going to need to either put maybe a piece of PVC pipe in here, or just tape up the outside of the rope so that as it's spinning, it's not going to cut into this rope that we have, okay? But here's our pull down bar. Now, we can go ahead and hook this back up and see if we're within range from where we initially set a choker. Hook this back up. It off. Okay. So obviously, we're a little too high. It's not bad, but we want it to be just a little bit lower than that. So, another issue though that we're having is a swing. So once we fix our elevation, I'm going to show you how to fix the swing. So go ahead and drop this down just a little bit. In order to lower it, in all reality, we just need to untwist it just a little bit, move it down just a little bit down this line. And it should give us just enough room for what we're looking for. Once you get this set, you won't really have to touch it again. But it is a little bit of trial and error. It's fine. Pull this down tight, walk it around, get it down. I'm going to take this back up. Put this back in. Let's see where we're at. Okay, that's much better. You don't want it to be all the way down here because we're not trying to start right here, right? We want to be right about just a little bit above shoulder height. So obviously, depending on your size, whatever, the other thing you can do, so like say, you know, it's you and your old lady doing this, whatever, you can set this up to where we put a shackle here and a different extension of rope. One for her, one for you. So you can customize it. All depends on what you're doing it with and who you're doing it with and all that. But now, I've got tricep push down, back up a little bit, do a row, also get down, okay, but still haven't dealt with the issue of you don't want your weight swinging. Especially when you don't have full control of it and it can just go one way or the other. If you pull too hard or not hard enough and it wants to fall. So, that's where this comes in. That's where our 550 cord comes in. And also, two of these here. So this looks like just one of those things that holds your keys, right? But it also comes with another tiny little pulley on it. About $8-9 at any Ace Hardware. Okay? They're not expensive, but what it's going to do, it's going to allow us to control the swing of our weight. Goes in there like that. What we're going to want to do, attach it here, attach it up on the rope, and attach it down at our shackle. Okay? That starts with this. Again, you can use pliers, you can use the straight edge of a screwdriver, however, these are made to push in by hand just to catch the first initial thread. Once you catch the threads will do their job. So we're just going to put it here, push in, push in, push in as we're spinning. Okay? So now it's in. You can take, this is a screwdriver, or again, just the handle of a set of pliers, put it through, put your palm on it, twist, twist. You want the pliers, put it in like that, twist, okay? But Granddaddy said harder or smarter, not harder, right? So we're gonna go like this. Line that up. Run it in, run it out, run it in, run it out, so that you don't overstress the bolt itself. Okay, now we're pretty much straight up and down, but we're going to go ahead and back it back up to where I think I'd be perfect, but we just eyeball about north and south. Okay, so then we're going to take our little pulley, stick that right on. All right. So again, what I tell you, we're going to use the exact same knot this entire time. We're going to go ahead and come here. We want to go to the rope, not the shackle, not the material. Because the rope is always going to be there, but you might have to switch out shackles whenever you're trying to switch out weights. So it's easier, better, just to always go straight to the rope itself, because that's going to be the consistent thing. So again, we're going to do a bowline knot. Running end to the left hand. This side of this hand, we're going to loop it in. Okay? To where the top is facing towards me. This side of the loop is running back towards me. Okay? Here, and we're going to go through the hole, around the backbone, back in that same hole, and we're going to grab that initial loop and that running end, just like that. I'm going to grab this side, I'm just going to pull, okay? And then you can come up on it. Make sure you're tight. Now with 550 cord or other ropes, it again might have some wax on it for weatherproofing and all that stuff. If you want to, you can go ahead and take that running end and throw an extra knot in there just to make sure. Typically though, if it's something that you didn't just break out of a package, you'll be okay with just the normal, straightforward way. So now, what we're going to do is we're going to try to figure out, just eyeball, somewhere about halfway up. But before we do that, we want to take our weight, we'll make our weight a little ways away from us. So what I'm going to do that, grab this rope, grab the 550 cord, I'm going to pull down, pull out, we're going to walk it back, okay? And then we'll set it down, okay? So now, that right there, that's about where you want your next knot to go. Now I just realized something, I lied to y'all. We're also going to need to use a clove hitch. Clove hitch is relatively simple. What I'm going to do, pull that, line that up. I'm going to make sure I give myself plenty of room for this knot. The reason why we want to go up here and we don't want to go down here is because as we're working out, if you go to the ground, if you back up, if you do this, you do that, it's giving you the extra space of this rope, this rope, this rope, and the rest of the system. If I were to go down here, you're going to be pulling against yourself, and you're going to limit your capability of being able to pull. Okay? We're going to be about here. Put this off. Cameraman's going to come in. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, come here, Bubba. You hold this. So hold it like that. I'm going to wrap it around. Okay? So it's a wrap above. Okay? Thumb on. Pull it over. I'm going to go over the top. Pull it tight. Now, I'm going to come under the bottom. Pull it tight. And I'm going to grab this back side. I'm going to loosen it up just a little bit. And I'm going to take this, the running end, and I'm going to go under that first loop that went over the top. Okay? So if you can see it, we went from here, hold here, we go under the bottom, pull it tight, and you'll see there's almost like a little X pattern there, right? Okay? So we're going to hold that back side, loosen it up just a little bit, open this up. We're going to take this and go through that first loop that we went over the top with. Where it looks like that. It'll look like that in the back. You're just going to pull it tight. Now with this one, we are going to want to take this running end and put a half hitch, which is basically what you do with your shoelaces. Just over, through the middle, back out, pull it tight. All right, so that's what we're going to do on the back side. We're going to go over, through the middle, pull it tight. I'm going to do it one more time to lock that back knot in place. Pull it tight. Pull the whole system tight. Okay. So now, you'll notice, go ahead and set it where it's going to be. Before, when I pulled up on this, its first instinct was, because I'm leaning this way, the weight wants to lean this way. So now what's going to happen is, when I pull up, that's going to go there. It's going to tension up here. It's going to pull that weight that direction. It's going to keep you safe. Okay? So take a half a step back. I'm going to do a tricep push down. Push down. Doesn't come anywhere near me. Now, I've got my machine. It's a little bit of redneck, a little bit of imagination. $800 machine. You can do an unlimited amount of things with this. You can go ahead and get an additional pulley, put it down on the bottom, and you can actually do full seated rows. You can do, put another pulley on the bottom, and you can do full curls. You can do all sorts of things with this simple setup. 20 bucks, 15 bucks, couple bucks, couple cents. Something the neighbor was throwing away. You're looking at about $40 for an $800 machine. This is why we're here. You probably also noticed big old giant tire. Obviously, we can flip them. We can do all sorts of stuff with them. The bucket, yeah, we can do curls. We can do this. We can do that. We're going to rely on something that most people don't ever work out, which is your work muscles, not your in-shape muscles. When I got out of the Marine Corps, I was about 189, 195 pounds, 2% body fat, and I joined the Iron Workers. Figured I had it made. If this dude ever hears this, he's going to kill me, but I got my ass handed to me by my first foreman. He was a 5-foot Mexican with a 4-foot ponytail, and he was 40 years old, and I was 22. It took me 2 months to catch up to him because of technique, and because we were using muscles I didn't even know existed in my body. In shape and in work shape are two different things. So a lot of this stuff is going to be farmer's carries. It's going to be working out side to side muscles. It's going to be you dragging things backwards. And when you walk backwards, you actually relieve the tension in your knees, but you can still build muscle in the rest of your legs. Okay? This is all the stuff we're gonna focus on, we're gonna work on, we're gonna build. If you have anything that you've come across, that you've seen, that you've done, that you've liked, if you have any questions about anything that we've done, or anything that we're gonna do, please put it down in the comment section. I will get to anybody and everybody. This is part of us learning together. Because I'll tell you right now, I don't know it all. I'm hoping to build a community with this, so that you can do your 75 hard outdoor, and even if you got to do your what's supposed to be the indoor outdoor. We have equipment just laying around the house. Don't need to spend the money. So chin up, eyes front, chest forward, and keep on moving down that hard road. I'll see you next time.